Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to Wobble and Jaw Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Round 11 is upon us. That is Magic Round. It has become arguably the biggest weekend of regular season footy of the entire year. And without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the very first game for Magic Round. It is emanating from Suncorp Stadium. The Canberra Raiders, technically the home side, take on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. On Sportsbet, the Raiders are outsiders at $2.28. The Dogs are $1.63. The Bulldogs are unchanged after last weekend's loss to the Panthers. Meanwhile, the Raiders, they are coming off the bye and a victory at Four Pines Park, a huge comeback victory from the Raiders against Manly on that Friday night. And there are team changes for the Raiders coming into this game. Jordan Rapana returns. He is at fullback. He pushes Sebastian Kris to the centre position. And the forward pack is untouched. Elliot Whitehead still remains in the second row. And if he shows in a millimetre, an inch of what he showed the other week against Manly this Friday night, the Raiders will win, absolutely. Whitehead was absolutely incredible the other week. And the interchange is Starling, Mariota, Mooney, and Gula. And again, I reiterate, the Dogs are unchanged as well. This has the potential to be the game of the round when all things are said and done. These two teams, I think they match up very well. They're both sitting down in between 7th and 10th. I think it's a battle between 7th and 10th. And I think we're going to see some really fun, exciting footy. So if you are going to Magic Round, unfortunately I'm not, get out there early to go check this one out. I think this could be the game of the round. I think the Raiders, if any team did need the bye, it was them. If not, it has definitely, I think it came at exactly the right time for this young Canberra Raiders outfit. I think they'll come out firing and the Raiders will win, I think, what will be a seriously entertaining game of footy, 1-12 against the Dogs this Friday. Game number 2 on Friday night at Suncorp is Manly versus Brisbane. I think I read somewhere that this will be the last time Manly are going to be the home team for a Suncorp game against the Brisbane Broncos. And if it's the case, hallelujah. Halla friggin' Lulia. The Sea Eagles are coming into the game $3.73 outsiders. Brisbane are $1.28 favourites coming into the game. There are team list changes, starting off with Manly first. Kohler is at fullback because poor Tom Trbojevic did in his hamstring and he'll be missing approximately 6 weeks. The wingers, Viega and Polo, the centres, Talau and Garrick. The halves remain the same. The forward pack, Paseka, Lawton and Aloye. The back row, Olakawatu returns after serving 2-game suspension. And the Trbojevic brothers, the other two, are the back row. The interchange, Chan Kum Tong, Waddell, Bullimore and Lodge. And looking over to the Brisbane Broncos now, and they look like that Billy Walters is going to miss this game due to an injury. So Tyson Smoothie will play at jersey 9 and Blake Moser will wear jersey 14 on his back. Very interesting there. So Mr. Josh Rogers, who did a pretty good job last weekend in the game against Parramatta away at CommBank Stadium, he's unfortunately been shifted out into the reserves. Brisbane, they at times looked like they were under the pump by Parramatta. I guess that's a credit to the Eels. But they won by winning off of a few kicks as well. So you can't say it was unconvincing, but I think there's definitely room for improvement. And with Jock Madden coming in at halfback instead of Josh Rogers being there with Ezra Mam, we'll see how they go this weekend. It'll be interesting to see how Jock Madden goes this weekend. In regards to Manly, who am I to talk being a Cowboys fan, but Manly, they are falling off a cliff at the moment. Injuries are coming at the worst possible time. Do I think they're a shot? A really, really rough miracle shot, to be honest with you. I'm going to tip the Brisbane Broncos. I said at the start of the year, and it's coming to fruition, that Manly's defence is what concerned me the most. And yeah, they might have a bit of sparkle in attack, but this game usually ends up 13 plus. So I'll go Brisbane to win this game 13 plus. On to the second day of Magic Round, the first game on Saturday, the Gold Coast versus Newcastle. On Sportsbet, the Knights are $1.64, the Titans are $2.26. This is Queensland Cup in first grade this weekend, this game, just quietly. Going into the team list, there are plenty for the Titans, unfortunately, after a very spirited first half against the North Queensland Cowboys at Seabus the other day. Keano Kinney is the proper fullback with jersey number 1 on his back. Khan Pereira and Jojo Fafita are the wingers. Philip Sami succumbing to an injury last weekend. Brian Kelly and Aaron Schupp are the centres. And the halves are Chris Randall and Sam Verrills, the halfback, because Brimson and Foran went down with injuries of their own this past weekend. The forward pack, Fodawaker, Clark and Jolliffe. The back row, Fafita, Fermor and Khalees Haas. Interchange, Palasia, Liu, Josiah Pahulu and Joe Stimson. Tom Weaver has been named with jersey 18 on his back. And can I just quickly say that I think Pahulu is a serious dark horse for being the Rookie of the Year. He's been outstanding since his debut, man. And then going into the Newcastle Knights team, Daniel Saifidi has been suspended and Tyson Gamble has been injured. So therefore, Cogger returns to the halves and Jacob Saifidi, Leo Thompson remain the starting forward pack. And off the interchange is Crossland, Pierce Paul, Brodie Jones and Jack Hetherington with jersey number 17 on his back. I'm absolutely buggered who is going to win this game. The Knights looked like they were going to get pipped at one stage by the Tigers the other day, and the Titans didn't come out in the second half. I just look at that halves pairing and think I don't think the Titans can do it, and I'm going to tip the Newcastle Knights to scrape home against the Titans 1-12. The second game of Super Saturday at Magic Round shapes up easily as the best game of the round. It's first versus fifth. It is Cronulla Sutherland Sharks versus the Eastern Suburbs Roosters. And Sharks are $2.47. Roosters are $1.55. Going into the team list now, and we've got Braden Hamlin-Uele, who is out, unfortunately, and Cade Dykes also says that he is out as well. So coming on to the forward pack for the Cronulla Sharks, Kaufusi and Hazelton remain the starting front rowers, and the interchange reads Williams, Talakai, Hunt, and Hao Tapahu. That's still land of the Giants right there, man. And just quietly, Braden Trindle has been named in jersey 20. Okay, watch this space, but I doubt it. And Nico Hines returns to play at halfback alongside his partner in crime now for what I think should be the rest of the year, not Braden Trindle. It's Daniel Atkinson. I saw this guy play at the Rugby League World Cup for Italy a couple of years ago. I thought he had a good bit of Milo, a good scoop of Milo, Daniel Atkinson, and he definitely had a good glassful before kickoff the other night against the Storm. Sharks winning a really cool game of footy down at Amy Park against the Storm. Wow, they are genuine contenders if they can win that game without the likes of Nico Hines, man. Well done, Daniel Atkinson. Absolutely brilliant. And then the Sydney Roosters. Oh man, I don't mean to sound like a doubter and someone that wants to put water on the paper sort of thing and make it break. There you go. But, oh dude, I don't know. They've beaten the Dragons. They took care of the Broncos, who halfway through that game were a Queensland Cup side themselves just about, without Adam Reynolds and other players like that. And then last weekend, they dominated a confidence-less New Zealand Warriors outfit. I'm not convinced on the Roosters' form. I do give them credit for going up to Suncorp and putting on 40 against the Brisbane Broncos. But I'm just not there yet with the Sydney Roosters. And for both Sharks and Roosters, this is a huge test for both of these sides, man. And looking into the team lists now, Joey Manu's not playing this weekend. Coming in for him is going to be Palga. And that looks to be just about it. Satili Tupanua has been named on the reserves list. Spencer Leniu, Egan Butcher on the interchange list. Roosters would have gotten up for anything the other day in Jared Hargreaves' 300th game for the Roosters. Defensively, I'll say this, even though they scored 40, they scored 60, they've scored 32 on all three of those victories, the Roosters, they've leaked 18 points. They've leaked 3 tries, and the Sharks, they are the best defensive team. They are arguably now the best attacking team in the competition. I think Nicho Hynes will also come in absolutely wet. He'll be coming in after a shower, and he won't dry his hair. He'll be absolutely slick as water, mate. Oh man, I don't want to get too excited over the Sharkies, eh? I don't want to get too excited because it was a very competitive game against the Storm. You got to treat the Roosters very, very seriously. Oh man, this is a really tough game. I also fear that maybe the Sharks travelling down to Melbourne, getting that dub in a very physical encounter, might be a little bit flat with the trip now up to Suncorp. But with Hynes not being there last weekend, they might get a lift of energy from Nicho Hynes, who didn't play that game, and he'd be bursting at the seams with pride to play for the Sharkies this weekend. Oh, dude, and these two teams last met in that elimination final in week 1 last weekend. So, yeah, while the Sharkies defeated Storm and said to themselves, we are contenders, I think they still want to get some revenge, obviously, against the Roosters last year, and I don't know how the Sharks lost that game as well. I fear that I'm getting too excited here, but I'm going to go the Sharks to win this game 1-12. And then, holy bejesus, South Sydney Rabbitohs, the home side, hosting the North Queensland Cowboys in the main event of Super Saturday. Channel 9 were lucky with this selection, weren't they? On Sportsbet, Souths are $3.30. That is so much value. The Cowboys are $1.34. Looking into the team list for both these sides, Alex Johnston returns to play out on the wing. Thompson plays in the centres, whereas Jacob Gagai will return to play on the wing. Dion Taupa remains at halfback. The forward pack is Mawali and Kepi with Cook as the hooker. Kolomatangi, Jairo and Havili are the back row for Souths. Interchange, Mamazoulis, Duncan, Burgess and Milne. Tane Milne with jersey 17 on his back. Holy Jesus. Now let's shift into the Cowboys. There are a couple of changes. So Murray Taulagi returns for the first time in 5 weeks, which is great. He'll partner again Valentine Holmes, and Jordan McLean, after suffering a suspected hamstring injury and a week off, he does return pretty quickly, so that's really good news. Looking into the reserves, unfortunately it's Harrison Edwards that shifts out to the reserves, and Jackson Purdue has been named with jersey 22 on his back. Also Jake Clifford and Jake Granville are there on the reserves list as well. This could be 10-8, or it could be 40-38. If it's raining, heaven help us. So some of the one-on-one matchups that are happening this weekend. So Johnston will be lining up on Kyle Feldt. So a battle of the veterans. That'll be something to look forward to. And then Kolomatangi will be lining up on Highland Lukey. So sort of a young bull versus an old bull. I guess it's just Kolomatangi has a few more Ks in the legs than what Hylam Lukey does anyway. And then eventually when Jason Taumalolo comes on, he'll be going up against the likes of Thomas Burgess, for example. And also Damien Cook versus Reece Robson. It's a battle of who will be the New South Wales hooker, basically. Cook's got one more chance, basically. And Reece Robson, you'd say, has got a spot in the 1 to 17. Whether or not he starts has yet to be revealed, obviously. The matchup that I'm a little bit concerned about is Jai Arrow versus Jeremiah Nene. Talk about old bull versus young bull. Jai Arrow, he can definitely hold his head up high after his efforts so far in 2024. Jeremiah Nene, consistently inconsistent, inconsistently consistent. Just this guy, when he does pop up, he's so effective, but you're waiting half a dozen minutes, or you are waiting a dozen minutes until he does inject himself, or he is then injected into the contest, man. So you can't take I'm not dissing him or whatever. I don't mean to sound like I am. It's just, man, you'd love to see him be a little bit more impactful. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Just this game, man. This season, man. Oh, dude. Come on, you Cowboys. Come on. Now on to Sunday. The first game on Sunday is the Warriors versus the Penrith Panthers. The Wars are $3.20. The Panthers are $1.35. And one of these sides looks like a New South Wales Cup team, just quietly. With all due respect, of course. Tane Tauapiki is the fullback. He is a very good young man, a very good player. DWZ and Montoya are the wingers. Leotow, I should say, and Pompey are the centres. Nickel Klukstar and Tamare Martin are the halves pairing, with Tamare Martin the halfback. The forward pack remains unchanged, and the interchange is Walker, Ale, Tavanga, and Jacob Layman. Looking into the Penrith Panthers now, and there is one massive change, obviously. It is Nathan Cleary, who was going to be out for, 6 to 8 weeks. Jack Cole comes in at 5/8. On the interchange, Dane Laurie, Lindsay Smith, Matt Eisenhuth, and Mav Gaia in jersey number 17. Keep a cheeky eye out, though, for the reserves. Scott Sorensen has been named with jersey 22 on his back, so watch this space with Scott Sorensen. Panthers, again, it's like a full straight month where they have not been convincing, but they've gotten the job done. If this Warriors outfit was full strength, and obviously with a bit more confidence and a little bit more Milo, you'd give the Warriors a sniff. I think the NRL organisers were hoping that this would be the game of the weekend, but alas, it's not meant to be. Unfortunately, I think this Panthers outfit just way too well drilled, and they'll get the dub here. I'll say 13 plus. Game number 2 on the Sunday ticket of Sunday is Melbourne Storm versus the Parramatta Eels. Eels are $3.64. The Storm are $1.29. Going into the team list now, and looks to be unchanged. Xavier Coates is back into the side. So that's a huge inclusion for them, man. And for the Parramatta Eels, it was absolutely the hottest rumour around town last weekend, started by James Hooper, that Mitch Moses was, an almighty shot of returning for the Eels, and he has not even been named on the reserves list, so absolutely forget about it. That's a shame. That's a shame, obviously. So Bryce Cartwright returns into the fold. He'll come off the bench in jersey number 14. And then looking further into it, Micah Sevo, Penasini, Russell, and Simonson. Talangi is the fullback, and the interchanges Cartwright, Makatoa, Offengawi, and Tuolangi. How often do you see Melbourne Storm lose 2 in a row? Not much. Melbourne Storm 13 plus. And to finish Magic Round, we have the West Tigers versus the Dolphins. West Tigers being the home side, they are $3.25 outsiders. The Dolphins are $1.35. favourites. The team list now. There are changes for the Tigers. At fullback, Buller, going down the list now. Solomon Ale-Malo is one of the wingers. The halves pairing remains Galvin and Sullivan. The back row, Fainu, Seyfarth and Twal. Interchange, Simpkin, Pole, Asukapoa and Sione Fainu in jersey number 17. And going into the Dolphins now. So we've got Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. Wow, Hammer's back at fullback, and Trey Fuller's been named at jersey number 18. Wowee, man, wowee. Going in through the rest of the back line, Azarko, Aparillo, Farnworth, Bostock. Really like what Bostock's doing this year, eh? He could find himself a representative jersey in the next 5 years, man. Seriously. The forward pack remains pretty much untouched, and the interchange is Kerr, Donahue, Raystone, and Connolly Lemu-Elu. Sean O'Sullivan named a jersey 19 again, but those outs for the West Tigers, Isaiah Papali'i, John Bateman, Stafford Toa, with Brent Naden and Justin Olam filling up those centre positions. Oh man, this Sunday in hindsight now, or in retrospect, after I've looked at all the team lists and given my opinion on it, it's 13 plus Sunday, isn't it? Like, let's be fucking real here. Excuse me, French. Didn't mean to swear then, but gee whiz, this is shaping up as a 13 plus Sunday, isn't it? Hopefully, fingers crossed, Hammer goes well and remains scar-free. But yeah, I'm going to tip the Dolphins here 13 plus. They are a team that are they're swimming along nicely, man, and they're swimming along deep enough where they're definitely under the radar at the moment, bro. Yo everyone, thank you very much for the continuous support. If you're going to Magic Round, stay safe. Hope you have a very nice weekend. Hope your tip gets up, except for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And yeah, enjoy the weekend. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Thank you, take care, adios.